Hi all, this is Sia Nas and welcome to episode 74 of the Diary of Sia Nas. So welcome to my New York loft. Looks like I'm in a loft, but it's actually a new background that I've got, and it looks like I'm out of hairdressers, but they're actually 3 lamps on the top. I can't put it up any higher because then you're not going to be able to see it, so maybe not the best idea to get this background, but maybe if I can move the camera back a bit, maybe if we move it up a little. How's that? Does that be better? So then you can see the 3 lamps and you can see my New York loft. So let's start with the week. So the week started on... Why do I always forget to put in the dates? So we started the month. So the week started on the 1st of June. So in Australia, welcome to winter. And so Monday the 1st of June. And on Mondays, as always, I edited, uploaded and promoted the podcast. Also got a free membership with Music Victoria. So as I'm looking down, I'm looking at my purple fluffy llama diary, and I'm actually on the last page. So we're going to be saying farewell to the well, it's not actually purple fluffy llama diary. Oh yeah, it is. It's a white llama, but the diary is purple and fluffy. So I got a free membership with Music Victoria, and you can get one until the end of the month, so the 30th of June. And what Music Victoria does is it's a voice for musicians in Victoria, and they help you get grants and I think get funding, and they also help get you discounts if you're traveling, and with merchandise and advertising. And I think there's something in there about healthcare. There's like heaps of things that they can offer you. So if you have a look at the website, it's a really good idea to get a membership, because the money goes to help musicians. It goes to help fund everything that they do. And they're also able to offer you opportunities. I haven't had a look at what it is, but I think there's like songwriting camps and things like that, and overseas opportunities as well. So have a look at the website. I had a good look, but not like a really in-depth look, but what I saw was pretty good, and I got a membership. So the memberships aren't too expensive, but I grab one now that they're free, because then you've got a year and then you can decide if you want to pay for one next time. So that's Music Victoria. I also started a contouring course for makeup. So contouring is the one thing that I've always had trouble with. Looking pretty good today. It's in the right place and it's not too dark. And so the contouring is just like this section here across. And just to give definition to the cheekbones, because I've got a really round face, and if I don't do contouring, then I look like a bowling ball head. So I've got cheeks and everything. Not that it's a bad thing, but it's also nice to have some definition to your face. So I've been doing the contouring course, and on Monday I was ahead of the ball, and I started editing my video podcast. So that was on Monday, and then on Tuesday I continued with the contouring course. Also made the beat video for my Beat of the Week Shady, which was for last week. Not as popular as I thought it was going to be. And then once I uploaded it and I listened to it, the drums sounded off. Like they were a little bit off in the first place, but I thought it sounded pretty cool. But then when I uploaded it and I heard it again, I'm like, oh, they sound really off. But nobody said that it's shit or it's crap, so that's a good thing. Because people are really honest, so you always know when you're good or not. But you don't always have to listen to the critics, because they're not always right. But yeah, I haven't had any hate, so that's a good sign. So on Tuesday was also Blackout Tuesday, and so Blackout Tuesday for the Black Lives Matter movement, and I noticed there were people saying, what's the point of it? But I thought it was a great initiative because everyone was doing it. I even noticed Eckhart Tolle was doing it. A lot of comedians and musicians and artists, of course, but I just noticed everyone, like even in the beauty community, they were doing it. So I thought it was a wonderful initiative. It got everybody involved and it got everybody talking, and it sort of got the movement going, which is fantastic because it hasn't slowed. And I think that we just need to, like in America, just need to get more people of color in office so that they can make a change, and really fight for Black lives. But yeah, I thought it was a great initiative. I thought it was a great initiative. And yeah, it just got the conversation going, but it got everybody involved and everyone talking about it. So I don't think that it was a bad thing or it was useless. I thought it was a great thing. I was really quite excited by it. So yeah, and the movement keeps rolling, which it really has to, like change really has to start happening. And I've noticed that the police are not using as much force and on the protesters, and they're not going to use a chokehold anymore, which really is unnecessary because with George Floyd there were 4 officers, so why did that one officer, and he was handcuffed and on the ground, so what was the point of the officer with his knee on him? I don't understand. He wasn't going anywhere, and if he was, there's 3 other officers or 4 of them all together to catch him. So yeah, there's no need for such brutality from the police. So that's one thing that I've noticed, and they've said, some of the police forces have said in different states that they're not going to use as much force, which that's a great thing. That they shouldn't have been doing it from the start, but it's got things moving, so that's fantastic. So then on Wednesday, I promoted my podcast video, so the podcast went up. I uploaded my Shady beat, ready for Friday. And then I made a new beat called Dream Big. It's quite dark, but I might change it to Bad Habit because I don't think a beat called Dream Big should be that dark. And I also got this new background. So, yeah, I'm wondering maybe if I don't show those lamps at all because it looks a bit funny. It's like I'm at a hairdressing salon. But I really love the stone there. That looks really cool. It looks like I am in a New York loft. So yeah, I didn't think that it would work, but the color is good. It's a nice sort of natural sandstone color with the brick. So yeah, it looks really cool. Maybe I'll just have to raise up the so that you can't see the lamps, which is a shame because that was one of the reasons why I got it. So yeah, life moves on after the Black Lives movement, but we've got to keep it going. So we need to continue with it within our lives. So yeah, I feel bad that now I'm just started talking about other stuff, but I haven't forgotten. And then on Thursday I got, that's the lipstick that I'm wearing now. This is from Lip Bar, and it's a black-owned business in the US. And it's called Man Eater. It's quite a dark lipstick, and I've put a lighter natural gloss on top. But I just find that anything I put on top of this does nothing. It just adds like a sheen. You can't like dull the colour. It's quite fitting considering it's called Man Eater. But yeah, the lady that started this business, she went on Shark Tank and they ridiculed her. The old white guy ridiculed her. Like, what does he know about makeup, and why is he speaking on products like this? Like, how does he know what women want? And you didn't hear from the other girls that were on the other sharks, so that was really disappointing. But she persevered, and now this company is worth over $7 million, so poo to him. So yeah, the lip bar, so definitely check that out. And this didn't cost much at all, and it's a really good formula. It really stays on. I think it's vegan as well, and it's cruelty free, which is fantastic. Yeah, the lip bar. So, and they've got lots of different colors, like really varied colors. And yeah, I really recommend you have a look at it. The shipping was not expensive, and this was not expensive either. I think I paid like maybe $25 to $30 to have this, to pay for it and to have it delivered from the US. So that's really quite cheap. I'm usually paying like $40 to $50 for a lipstick and postage to come here. So yeah, the lip bar, check them out. So that came on Thursday. I continued with the contour course. Thursdays I do the weekly shopping as always, and on Thursday I finished the Dream Big, and I mixed and mastered it. One thing that I'm trying to figure out with mixing and mastering is I get a lot of static when I pull the mastering programs, the mixing out, and I think it's mainly the mastering program when I put that on and I pick certain settings, and I'm just trying to figure out how to fix that. Because when I put the mastering and I put settings that I really want and the beat sounds really good, that's when there's the worst static, of course. And I haven't figured out how to fix this, and I've looked, I haven't really looked too much into tutorials, but I've looked through all the channels to figure out. I've been watching a few tutorials, but one's specifically to find out why the static is there, so I need to do a bit more homework on that one. I haven't emailed the company. It's called Eyeshadow because I want to try and figure it out, but yeah, I think pretty soon I'm going to have to, because the settings, the really good settings are the ones where you get the most static, and that's really disappointing. So I got to work on that. So that was on Thursday. And then on Friday, I started making a beat called Trap, and I just wanted to make a basic trap beat, but I found this really cool hi-hat that I liked, and it's got this really nice melody, but I don't have anything in the thousands of samples that I've got that really sit with it. So it's just got the hi-hat on there, and it's got an 808 as well, and there's one more thing, there's 3 things in there, I think just very simple drums, and I can't find anything else that will sit with it, so I'm just thinking maybe just keep the 3. I mean, I'm going to make heaps more beats, so maybe just keep it with those 3 instruments and see how that goes. So that's an idea. Also finished the highlight and contouring course on Friday, so that was really good. So I've got 2 more courses to do, but that was nice to finish that one. I also heard back from the designers for my Invention, which is a beauty accessory, and you're working with men who are trying to design an accessory for young girls, so it's kind of weird. And they, at the start, they didn't really get it because it looked like a car part, and I'm like, you know, that's not it. And now he's telling me, no, what we've done now, they've changed, and they're like, no, this is good. And I'm thinking, excuse me, it's not your product, it's mine, so I'll tell you when it's good. So he said, think about it, and I really hate it when he says think about it. It makes me feel like I'm stupid. Oh, silly girl, just think about it, you know, we're right, you're wrong. So that was on Friday, and I have thought about it, and I really want it done my way, and screw you. So I'm going to tell him to change it so that I can see how it would look my way, and if it doesn't look right, then we can change it, but don't tell me how my product is meant to look. I'm supposed to tell you. So that happened on Friday. And also on Friday, I started painting the skirting boards at home, and I had to tape them all off. And on Friday, I was just so tired. I had to tape them all off, and then realized that we needed to tape off a wider piece. And then once I taped off the wider piece, I realized that I needed to tape off, there was some wood that sits on the floor, so we needed to paint from floor to further up the wall. So then I had to go around all over the house and redo it 3 times, and it was absolutely exhausting, and it was boring as hell too. and that was on Friday, and today's Sunday, and I haven't managed I've only done one coat, and it's so patchy, and I have to do 2 more coats, so that'll be tomorrow or Monday. I'll do that. That was on Friday that I was doing that. And then on Saturday, I vacuumed the whole house by myself. Big mistake. And then after that, I went to the Black Lives Matter march in Melbourne, in the city, and I was a bit concerned, and I was really worried that I might get fined, because you get a $1,600 fine if you're in crowds of more than like 5 or something like that. And I thought, oh, what am I going to do? But I thought this is bigger than money, and I really wanted to be part of it, because I've got a lot of friends. I've got a few friends who are music producers and beat makers and fans that comment who are black, and I want to support them because everyone's been really good to me, and I just wanted to do it to show that I care. And I guess even if I didn't have black friends, I still would do it because it's the right thing to do. And also we're protesting against police brutality against Aboriginals in jail as well, and just the excessive force they use, because there's a black death every month in Australia from the Aboriginal population, and that's just too many. And I think that in total they said it was like 423, so that's just too many. One is too many. So it was wonderful to be a part of it. I had a mask on, and it was so hard to breathe. I had this heavy duty mask that my sister got me, and yeah, it was really heavy duty, and I couldn't breathe. And I was just thinking, I'm struggling to breathe with a mask on. How did George Floyd feel when he couldn't breathe and he was saying I can't breathe? And all the other people, the black people that police have arrested and have handled excessively and have said they can't breathe. And they were even saying that the last Aboriginal person that police killed was saying the same thing, I can't breathe. So when I had the mask on, I was thinking about all these people, and I thought, just, don't complain. But I was struggling, so I would lift the mask off so that I could get a breath. It was really good because a lot of people spoke, and it was good to hear everyone's opinion. And it was also really good, to hear everyone's opinion and everyone's story, but it was also really good to read all the the posters that people had written, like their little protest boards that they had. And it was I took as many photos of them as I could, and they're on my Instagram if you want to have a look. And and there was over 10,000 people, which is fantastic. So when I went up, I went early, and there weren't that many people. And once the protest, the rally started, I looked behind me, and it was packed. And they said it was like 3 blocks down, so there was quite a lot of people, and it went all day. And there was a march and everything as well. I only stayed for like half the day, but yeah, and they had some music as well, and the girls who sang had beautiful voices. And there was also a speaker from America there, a doctor, but I noticed on the news they didn't put that he was a doctor, and I thought, why didn't they do that? Because he spoke beautifully, but then when I saw on the news, I saw that he was reading from a laptop, whereas everyone else, their speeches were a bit more crude, so I was obviously off the top of the heads. And with the doctor, he had obviously prepared something, and it just came across more eloquent. But they all had a powerful message, which is, Black lives do matter. Police brutality is unacceptable, and of course, the white invasion and having their land taken from them. So there was a lot of things covered. So that was on Saturday, and then Saturday night I wasn't feeling too well, and I got concerned that I maybe had gotten COVID, because I was exhausted from the last few days, just absolutely exhausted. And then on Sunday, my sister wanted to go to Port Arlington, and they wanted me to go there. I was just too tired, and I sent her a message, and I said, look, I'm too tired. I don't want to go. And I told Mum, and she's like, no, just go, get out of the house. And when I got to my sister's, she stood well away from me. My nephew was hiding from me, and he never does that. And my sister said, if you don't feel well, don't come. And because you've got a blocked nose, so sorry. She said, don't come. And she stood back from me, and her husband was stood back from me as well. And they said, there's no pressure for you to come along. We just thought you'd like to, come out. And so they just gave me some things that they wanted me to take to my parents, and I took those, and I was heading home, but I just really didn't feel well. And so on the way home, I stopped at the hospital, Royal Melbourne Hospital, and I got tested for COVID. And I have to say, it was one of the most disgusting things I've ever had to do, because this is what happens. Luckily there was no one there, because I was there about 10:30 in the morning, so I consider it's a Sunday morning. There was no one there, and I went up the stairs, and I went the wrong way, and this guy was helped me figure out how to get in, and I was thankful for that. And you have to scan a barcode and a QR code, not a barcode, like a QR code, and then it takes you to a form and you fill out your details, and then you can go in. And so I was filling out my details, and then the girl saw me and she said, come in. There was no one inside, and there's chairs spaced apart, and they're all numbered, and then they take your details. And I think she took my temperature. I had to clean my hands with sanitizer, and they gave me a mask, and they showed me how to put the mask on. And it's not as easy as you think. I thought you just put it around your face, but you don't. It actually opens up, and you put it under your chin, and you pinch it on your nose. And then they got my details, and then you go to the nurse, and she takes your temperature, she takes your blood pressure, and that was all fine. And they asked me why I was there, and I said, look, I don't feel really well. And I went to the Black Lives Matter march, and I was opening my mask and I was breathing in, and I'm just a bit worried, because I had a sore throat and a headache. And when you're filling out the form, it'll tell you if you need to get a test or if you don't. And because I put those two, that I had a headache and a sore throat, it said a red bar came up, and it said you definitely need to have a test. So you sit and you wait, and I waited on chair number 4, and then when it was my turn, there was no one else there. The doctor called me, and I went in, and what they have is a Q-tip that's about this long, and he goes, just be prepared, for people, for the shock of this. And I said, I'm going to close my eyes, because I know that they do a swab test. And what they do is they shove it into the back of your throat to the point where you're actually gagging. And he did it 3 times, like in and out, no, 4 times. So I was gagging 4 times, and he's like, I'm really sorry. And then the same Q-tip, they put it in your nostril, and they push it down almost so that you can feel it in your tonsils. And they do it in both nostrils, and it's just absolutely the most disgusting thing I've ever experienced, and most uncomfortable thing. And then they take a blood test, and after he took the blood, I looked at the cotton ball, and it was soaked with blood, and I'm like, oh my God, because it was uncomfortable, and thought, this guy must be overdoing these, because he said that there were 5 people before me. And I'm thinking, is he just over it? Can he not be bothered? And then I sat down and I waited. They said, the doctor's going to come and speak to you. So I sat and I waited for the doctor, and he said to me, why are you here? And I told him, I wasn't feeling well, and also that I went to the march. And he goes, I overheard that part. And I told him how I was opening the mask and breathing. And he goes, we don't think you can get COVID that quickly. And he said, if you're feeling unwell in the next couple of weeks, go see your doctor. But they said we don't think that you need another test, and just self-isolate until you get the results. And they said you get the results between 24 and 48 hours, and you get a text if you're negative, and you get a call if you're positive, which would make sense. And so I went home after that. So I did that at 10:30. I went home and I slept all day today, just exhausted. And then a few hours ago, I got a text saying that I was negative, so I'm quite happy about that. But I'm kind of a bit concerned because there's still an incubation period, so I don't know. Maybe I went too soon. Maybe I should have waited. I think it was better that I went today because I was really quite paranoid. Like, oh my God, am I gonna die? So yeah, I had the test. Incredibly uncomfortable, so disgusting. And got it over with, and got the text message saying that I'm negative, so that is really good. And then after I got the text message, I started setting up for the podcast with my loft background, and started putting my face on with my Man Eater lip gloss. Very shiny. It's actually a matte lipstick, but I like gloss, and it was too dark, so as I said before, I was just trying to lighten it up. And yeah, and that was my week. So got a few things done. I need to get a few more things done. I want to continue with my invention and do more beats, and yeah, continue with the business. So it's pretty much business and music and looking after my parents and myself. So that's pretty much life at the moment. I hope you guys are all good and looking after yourselves. Keep up with the Black Lives Matter protests, and post and try to donate. I've donated to a few more donate.org petitions, and just trying to keep it alive. And don't forget about Breonna Taylor as well, who was murdered, and the police broke in and shot her 8 times. The whole story I'm not too sure about. I don't know why they broke in. They were looking for someone. Was it the wrong apartment? I don't know. And the cops got away with it. I mean, you shouldn't be able to kill somebody and get away with it, especially when they're 100% innocent. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. So keep on with that. Keep up the good fight. Look after yourselves. Look after your mental health. Call Lifeline and Beyond Blue if you need help. Definitely speak to your GP, your local doctor, if you need assistance. Share this podcast with your friends or someone you think would like to hear it or see it. Leave comments. Thank you to everyone who communicates with me. See if you can head over to leave a comment on iTunes. That will be much appreciated. Love you all. The beat of the week is called News. I haven't decided if it's news or what's the news. Again, it's another bit of a dark beat, but it starts with this really cool piano. And and the hook and the verses both sound quite different, a little different, because I've added and taken away. So I hope you guys enjoy the beat. Look after yourselves. And I hope you enjoy news, or what's the news. See you next week. Bye.